What is up, world? Bakerman Brad here, and today we're going to be taking a look at Portal Knights. Now, at first when we started looking at this one, it was going to be free to play, and then suddenly, rumor has it, it is now going to be going buy to play, which really had me upset and surprised me just like this dragon did. But with that, we're still going to take a look at it because we had most of it done, and it's still a fun enough game to where, depending on how much it is, it'll be worth at least checking out. So, let's do that right after we slay this dragon. So first things first, to describe Portal Knights, I would have to say Minecraft and Zelda Wind Waker had a baby, and then they died, leaving this orphan child. And it was raised by Trove, and then left on its own to kind of just do its best. Now, there's 3 different classes that you can choose from in Portal Knights, and one of them being the Knight or the Warrior, and then you have this guy right here, the Ranger, which is your archer class or long range person. And one thing about these is that you can change from third person to first person to help with aiming, except for the fact that, as you saw, there was a bow in your face. And the third class is the Wizard, and one of the fun little things to do is, as you've leveled up one character, build a whole bunch of super OP items for another class and then give it to them so that your level 1 wizard is running around with the most powerful exploding astral wizard staff and golden scythe that you can imagine, and then level up to level 2. Yeah. So, one of the things about these characters are each class has a different attribute that they are specialized in, but every class can use every single weapon or item from every class. We'll talk about that later. For now, let's talk about the customization of your character. Now, it's pretty simple. You've got male and female, and then you've got your 3 different classes. I'm going to go with the male in this one, and you've got, like I said, the Warrior, who is going to be your melee person. You've got the Ranger, who is your ranged damage guy, but still doesn't really use magic too much, so you have more damage than ranged weapons. And then you have your Mage, not the Wizard, I apologize, who is intelligent and has more mana and spell damage. Now, obviously, your Warrior can take more damage. Ranger has a little bit more agility, so they can dodge things a little bit better. But when you get into the customization, there's not too much that you can do in terms of getting carried away. There is 19 different hairstyles and 7 different facial hairstyles. And the funny thing is, regardless of gender, you can put all of them on any character. So you can have a female wizard with a mohawk and beard. Granted, this is a dude, so we'll spare that one. But if you felt like it, you can go Fu Manchu Mohawk and a chick as well. But anyways, enough with that. We've got Hawkbeard here, who's going to be our starting ranger, as who I ended up naming him anyways. But then you also got colors. You can change your ears a little bit. You can have an earring and stuff, but it's not really that detailed. Now, as you begin, there's 2 things that you're going to be doing: fighting and dodging, and then collecting stuff. Sometimes it's dropped, sometimes you have to go out and gather it, and just like for Minecraft and other things, when you are gathering things, it's kind of straightforward. It's not really that exciting, you're just sitting there hacking away at a block. Early game, that takes a long time because you don't have the upgraded weapons and tools, so it might take a little while. But as you get going and you have more stuff, you've upgraded different components for making items, you can do better with better items. You can make more chests that have bigger space in it, but anything that you do, you have to have certain items, and anytime you choose a grayed out item, it'll show you what it is that you need to then make that item. Your armor, like I said, you can actually use any armor type for any class, so you can build gladiator armor for a mage, and then still have a very intelligent, well-defended mage. So there's a lot of differences there, at least, that you could do whatever you really wanted to in terms of creating a character. Now, being that it is Portal Knights, one of the key components are the portal stones, but we'll show those in a little bit. Keep in mind, as you're creating these items, certain things need the anvil or the altar to be made, and you have to then go and upgrade those items to get better weapons. And as you get upgraded, your character gets stronger. You then get these different abilities that you can change, and then also certain levels you can change in the middle of playing. So none of the skills are locked, so to speak. You can change it anytime. So sometimes you want to have more mining abilities, cool, switch it to that. If you want to have the tools not take as much damage when you're mining, switch it to that. Now, like I said, if you had items to change in your character, you can go through that and put any item on that person. But the biggest thing about this is going to different islands in this giant Portal Knight area. And so if you see, there's some of them that have the skull. Those are the bosses of this, which you saw the dragon at the very beginning. That's one of the bosses. But each of these islands have different items that you can get. Now, one of the cool things about Portal Knights is you do have a multiplayer section, and it looks just the same as everything else. The items or the worlds are generated randomly, so you have the same kind of overall feel, but there could be other people. So as you're going around building stuff with your friends, which actually I noticed that you right now can only play on local networks and or with friends that you have on your Steam friend list. So it's not necessarily a multiplayer in... I will cut you. Anyways, it's not really a multiplayer in terms of random people. You have to at least know who it is that you're playing with, because you can't really damage the other person, so there's no PvP aspect to it. It's all PvE, just you could be doing that in a group. And you still kind of have to build your own stuff. Now, everybody can share everything in the world. You can go and create one anvil for everybody, or everybody could have their own little place, and I guess the only PvP part would be a my house looks better than your house kind of a situation, but that's about the extent of it. And you can bring any character that you have into their world. So if you have a higher tier warrior who has a whole bunch of super awesome gear, you can bring that into their world and kind of be OP, which would technically help them out. So if you wanted to help a friend and help them level up quickly, there you go, you could do that. Or if you just wanted to be a badass and jump down a mine shaft with your golden sword, you could do that too, which just right here, booyah. And as you just noticed, there is no fall damage, so that's one thing. Man, it's dark in here. Okay, I'm gonna get out of here, but I'm gonna also troll you. Oh, never mind, I'll troll myself. Anyways, that's pretty much it for the multiplayer aspect, except for the fact that if you're just minding your own business and they decide to, whoever the host is, by they, decides to teleport to a new place, they will just magically pull you into wherever you were going. So you literally could be minding your own business, cutting out a door so people can still get to the cave underneath your now revamped little tower, and they'll just kind of stop what you're doing. Now, the good thing is the progress that you've made won't be deleted, so just kind of accept it and prepare yourself for the portal change. Side note, speaking of those, when you're in the game, you have to create the certain colored portal stone for each portal. And to do that, you have to get the portal shards, and each color has a different requirement of how many shards it takes to build the portal stone. Then, once you've built a portal, you have to go and find it. And being that every map is randomly generated, there are a lot of times where you don't necessarily know where the portal is going to be. Sometimes it's down in the dungeons, sometimes it's just around the corner in the desert, and you gotta just run around and find it. Other times it's up high, hidden on one of the cliffs. Aha! Just like this one is. So one of the tricks is just grabbing a stack of dirt, And thankfully, with all of the mining you'll do, there is going to never be an end, an end to the supply of dirt you can have. And then just create a new little ledge, and booyah, there you go. Now, one of the good things is there is a huge range with how far you can clip the items whenever it'll snap to it. So you can actually create a bridge from quite some distance away. Now, anyways, once you find out what color it is from the glitteriness of it, this one being blue, of course, since it's early in the game, you then stack 6 portal stones together, and voila, your wizard is ready to teleport. Now, anyways, back to what we were saying about multiplayer. Now, as you fly through the mystical portal, which happens every single time you change locations, you have to see this little cutscene, you will then get to whatever new location you're at. And as a group, you have to still be careful because there is no reason to really stick together. But depending on where you go, you might be kind of overwhelmed because you're not paying attention. I don't think that the worlds adjust to how many players are in the game. I haven't noticed any difference in difficulty or how many enemies there are. It's just one of those situations to where you just gotta be careful. And then you get to teleport out. Now, when you get to the end and you fight the final boss, you'll have to notice that there isn't really any crazy combat in this, but you do have some abilities to where you can, lock on and then dodge out of the way. There's really not too much about this game that makes it stand out, unfortunately. It's going to be another game that really is just kind of a open world. You get to craft and mine different resources and do your own thing. If this is an inexpensive game, like I was saying at the beginning, if it's like, $10, 15 bucks, okay, yeah, it'll be worth exploring if you have some friends that wanted to play this. But I do have some issue with the fact that there isn't a single map that gives you full open world access to like really explore the creativity of it. One of the problems with it is that I noticed after a while, you kind of get to the point where you don't really care about creating stuff. You get a certain amount of items and you get leveled up to a certain point, but there's no real reason to go building some crazy awesome castle because you're not going to be there very much. You can't just go back to it in the middle of the world gathering all your resources, and you just have to really be careful on where you choose your first house. But anyways, once you beat the last boss, which I'm not going to really show you right here, there is one other little aspect about this, and it's giving me hope. But it's the final map called The Gate. And that's all it is. It's just a gate. Now, through this, you get to see all of these smaller little portals like this, and you build color-coded portal stones to put in that block, and then that's what teleports you to each different map. But this one, for some reason right now, with the development stage that it's in, you can't access it. Like, I couldn't figure out how to open this portal. And I thought maybe if you had a whole bunch of red portal stones, that would be it, but I was wrong. So, this leads me to think that there's going to be more to come, which would make it worth getting and exploring. So, fingers crossed on that, but really for now, that's about the extent of it in terms of showing you off, what you can expect from this game. There are some levels that are a little bit harder, and there's some enemies that are kind of difficult and weird, but all in all, it's fun enough to get. But, yeah, I would say if you want to try it, go for it. But with it being early access and potentially pay to play, I'm not going to really put it high on my list of games that you have to get. Because there are other games out there that are free to play and allow you to create things kind of like Trove, or any of the other games that are like this one. But if you want to know anything else about it, check out the profile page on MMOHuts.com. And also, we'll keep you posted if we do find out that the rumors might have been false and that it is a free-to-play game. Hey, cool. We'll let you guys know. But with that said, gamers, I'm going to let you get back to gaming because you're probably playing something a little bit more entertaining, unfortunately.